Hey everybody, make some noise for your host of the show, Socially Awkward and Uncomfortable. But seriously, here he is, St. Patrick.
4, 3, 2, 1, and we're on. Welcome, viewers and non-subscribers. Are you comfortable? Is your brain relaxed? Are you ready to finally tell Facebook you're going to stop drinking and mean it? Are you ready to stop announcing you're deleting your social media accounts only to be back on in a few weeks? Well, my friends, sit back and relax and know that this show at times might make you feel awkward and uncomfortable. Not uncomfortable like the waiter asking how your food is while you're still chewing, or when you offer to pay just to be nice and the other person accepts it. This show may cause discomfort and may at times talk about uncomfortable situations, the conditions to which you just might not know what to say. Welcome to another episode of Socially Awkward and Uncomfortable, the podcast that will be everything socially awkward and uncomfortable. I am your host, Mr. St. Patrick, and we got all the way live and his twin, Mr. Dip and Elijah, in the house.
Yo, yo.
We have an exceptional show today. As always, we got a great co-host from Kansas. She loves the outdoor life, a warm-hearted mother, and enjoys cooking. She also has an OCD for organizing. Please help me welcome Danny to the show.
Hello.
And before I introduce my guest, I think I heard you had a brain tumor.
Yes.
When did this happen? And how was that?
So it happened when I was 12.
Uh-huh.
I started having seizures around age 10, 11. And then I had a lot of tests done. And then after about 2 years, they were just getting worse and worse. And finally, they found a tumor.
And they were able to take it away, and you're good now.
Yep.
I'm going to give a round of applause for that one, because that's good. Nice. Now, are you ready for a quirky yet appreciable type of show?
Yes.
Nice. Our guest today is an old boss. Now, I hope she would say we're great friends, but if she doesn't, she's lying. She is the reason me and my wife had a first date. She's passionate, free-spirited, and fierce. She also loves the outdoor life as well, and will serve you the best cake to your heart. And I mean that literally. Please welcome Raquel Rosas to the show.
Thank you.
How are you feeling?
Very good.
Yeah?
Thank you for having me.
Nice. Are you ready to dance the polka while being blindfolded?
Let's see.
Oh, well, that's not what this show's about. I was waiting for you to say no, but yeah.
I'm always up for adventure here.
Yeah, not what this show's about. But do you all do things that are considered weird or different?
Yes, always.
Like, what are some of the things that you guys like to do?
Crickets.
Yeah. The reason why I was asking is, like, when my team is playing and they're doing really bad, usually what I'll start doing is I'll start changing my outfits. I'll throw on a jersey, I'll throw on a shirt, and I start creating these weird what are they called? Superstitions. These weird superstitions for myself. And 9 times out of 10, my team still loses, and I still blame the fact that I didn't put like the right shirt on or the right outfit or whatever the case is. Do you guys do stuff like that?
I do weird things with my kids when they're having a fit.
Yeah.
I just throw myself on the floor and have a fit with them.
I mean, sometimes it'll calm them down though.
Yeah, they start laughing because they can't believe I have a fit just like they do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I agree with it. What about you, Danny?
Yeah, definitely. I do similar situations with my kids.
Yeah.
I can't think of something right off the bat, but yeah.
Another thing I do is sometimes I'll have to reach out to people randomly if they cross my mind to make sure they're okay. I know it can be, but at times annoying because they'll get a message, from me on a Wednesday at like 11:37 a.m. and I'll just be like, "Hey," but it's not being the fact that I'm being annoying. It's just to make sure that I'm checking up on them because they cross my mind and I'm like, shoot, like I hope this is not like a bad sign. So that's why I'm reaching out. So if you do get a random message from me, please know I never mean to any harm. I just want to make sure your spirits are good. So today's guest is now entering what 44% of all marriages are battling today. That's roughly for every 6 people who get married, 2 of those will come to an unfortunate end. Raquel, before we talk about the D word, tell us where you met your ex and how long you were married.
My story is pretty similar to yours. We worked together for so long, right?
Yeah.
And I am happy to say we're friends. You and I.
Yeah.
So when I started working at this place, I became a manager right away. So he used to come and cash his checks at my place of employment.
Yeah.
And that's how we met. And that was 22 years ago.
Wow.
and we were together for 7 years. We got married, and we're not yesterday, but Friday was supposed to be our 16-year anniversary.
Man, it's a long time.
Yes.
Yeah, that's almost my age right there. Can you share what happened to your relationship that ultimately ended in a divorce?
You know, just like adults that we are, we all
Mhm.
go through life, and I see you and Melly grow,
Yeah.
and you grow together.
Uh-huh.
I don't think that happened to my marriage. I
Yeah.
think that I grew and he didn't. So
Okay. Do you ever see yourself getting married again?
that's a great question that somebody else asked me on Friday. So
Uh-huh.
I said I'm not close to that possibility.
Yeah.
I'm still working on myself
Mhm.
to be healthy mentally, and
Yeah.
to be in that position where I can fall in love again with somebody great, and that they can offer what they have to offer,
Yeah.
and maybe be married again.
Okay. When you were younger, prior to meeting your ex, did you imagine your ex being the person that you're gonna marry, or it just kind of just fell into that?
It just happened. It was
Yeah.
like it's like one of those things. I have this instant knowing. So when
Uh-huh.
I first saw him,
Yeah.
it's like I knew that he
Mhm.
was my person at that time.
Yeah.
So
Was that so now when you're thinking about it, does it kind of change on your idea of
oh,
marriage?
it did. I mean, the way everything unveiled in our relationship the past, I want to say last year.
Uh-huh.
Um, I I feel like at some point I missed who he was
Yeah.
and stopped knowing who he was,
Okay.
because he did things that I never thought he was
Yeah.
capable of. So it did change a lot. Yeah.
Yeah. Um, what are you doing to confront this new stress? I mean, because thinking about, a divorce, you're like, shoot, man.
It was the first month. I want to say that it was all about thinking all of the years, all of
Uh-huh.
my as a wife, I was very loyal. I was
Yeah.
always loyal to my marriage, to my kids, to my family. I
Yeah.
was very hardworking. I mean, for so long.
Uh-huh.
And it was really tough. I was in a very dark place.
Yeah.
So what I started doing was in the mornings I will go for a walk, at
Yeah.
least 45 minutes walk. And that was my time to be with myself.
Yeah.
Ask me, where I wanted to be in life from now on.
Uh-huh.
Um, how can I change things that maybe I didn't do?
Right.
And if I did something wrong, how can I not get into that position again?
Uh-huh.
How to better myself. I mean, I'm not trying to blame it on me or on him. It's just it happened.
Yeah.
And a lot of meditation and um,
Like self-reflection.
self reflection
Yeah.
of how everything unveiled and how everything happened.
Right.
And I do go to therapy every week on a
Uh-huh.
Sunday. Today because I'm here.
Yeah.
So I do get therapy every Sunday, and I think that reaching out to people, to your friends,
Uh-huh.
that has helped me a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What do you say to people that kind of look down upon therapy?
Um, I will say that it is always good to get it out of your system. If you keep
Uh-huh.
it in your system, you're just
It's
gonna,
a poison.
yeah, you're just gonna be rage, anger. You're just gonna. I mean, if you have kids, you're gonna pass that on to your kids, and you don't want that. I mean, you want them to be healthy and to see that even though you went through that, you're okay and that you're happy
Uh-huh.
and that they'll be fine. Because the most, as a couple that we were, our main mission was to raise our kids the right
Yeah.
way. And up to now, even though we're not together, we can talk and we can see each other, and we're raising our kids
Nice.
together. Yeah.
Nice. At any point, did you ever use each other for that therapy?
No, he didn't believe on therapy.
Uh-huh.
I did it for myself.
Okay.
I cannot control what's outside, but only inside. So.
Yeah. Therapy is really good. I mean, I reached out, I've talked to people and stuff like that. So I love it. I mean, I'm trying different things.
I do therapy myself. Like
Yeah.
I have a facilitator's license for certain therapy that I
Oh,
do,
wow.
but I can do it on myself. So I will go to people that do it, and they do it for me. So
Nice.
and that has helped me cope and to have an open mind as to how changes are happening.
Nice.
Yeah.
Have you been in therapy before?
Yes.
How was that for you?
It helps tremendously.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What is some of the stuff that you have to, because you have to be so honest, do you find yourself still being kind of closed in because you're like, shoot, like I don't want to give her everything right away?
It depends. I feel like I have struggled with finding a good therapist.
Mhm.
I think when you find one that you really feel like you're getting the tools you need
Yeah.
and you feel comfortable enough, that helps me open up more.
Okay.
I have had therapists where I've tried to make it work for a couple months, but I just don't feel. I feel like I get on and I'm talking with them, especially during COVID, because it
Uh-huh.
wasn't face to face. Well, over Zoom, but
Yeah.
not actually like in person.
Yeah.
So I feel like I would just kind of get everything out in one session, and they'd be like, okay, good. Well, let's schedule your next appointment. And it's kind of like, I need a little bit more. I think some therapists, everybody has their own style,
Yeah.
but finding the right one was really important for me.
The virtual seems it would be a little hard for me because of the fact that you're not getting that interaction, you're not engaging, you're just not getting that personal feel to it. But I mean, it's still somewhat of an avenue.
Yeah.
Trying to get towards help. Raquel, how do you feel about your ex now? Are you completely over him?
I am completely over him. When I see him, I'm so neutral. There's no anger. There's no emotion. So I
Uh-huh.
think that as far as that, I think I'm healed. I mean, therapy has helped a lot, and I'm amicable. So we talk. We can talk. He helps with the kids for school, and
Yeah.
I let him see. Even though we're still working the divorce decree and all that, and he's asking for custody here, custody there. I don't have an issue. It was never my it was never my point to take his kids away.
Yeah.
He's always going to be their dad.
Uh-huh.
But I let him see them, even though it's not within the paperwork. It's like you can see them wherever you
Yeah.
want. They're your kids.
When you're dealing with that, like, did that ever come into play in regards to your decisions? Like I'm upset at you, so I'm gonna kind of hold back and not let you see your kids, or vice versa. Like, was he ever saying, like, because I'm hurting, you're not gonna see the kids, and it becomes this, tag of war game?
Yeah. Well, it's funny you say that because he did file the divorce right away.
Uh-huh.
I mean, you know me. You know how
Uh-huh.
serious I can get, and
Yeah.
I can be mean. I mean, don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
I'm a human being, and I
Uh-huh.
make mistakes too. Um, and he said I filed because I was afraid you were going to take the kids away. And I
Yeah.
said, hey, I said that's not why we had them. I said, it's our kids.
Yeah.
You can always see them. That's not my goal. I say I want you to be present in their lives because it's really important to have both parents.
Yeah.
I said, don't be afraid. I said I have no intention, and I never used him against them, like with them.
Uh-huh.
I don't think it's healthy for them if you talk. I have never said something bad to my kids about the dad, and
Right.
we talked about it. He's never going to talk bad about me to
Yeah.
them. So
That's very important. I
yes.
like the fact that you had spotlighted that, because the fact that sometimes the kids get caught in the crossfire,
Oh,
and then they
yes.
start creating their own divide and their own hate towards their parents.
Yeah, my oldest is the one that had the most issues because she comprehends what's going on. She's
Yeah.
15 now.
Uh-huh.
And I mean, and she has some trust issues. So I have been taking her to therapy because she says that men are horrible. And I don't want her to grow up thinking men are horrible,
Yeah.
because what he did to her mom.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And yours is kind of different because you have all girls.
Yeah,
You don't have like any.
I don't have a boy. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's
Mhm.
just like now it's just like how you said your daughter is. It makes it a little bit harder in my sense, in my opinion.
Yes.
What would you like to tell him if he sees this?
I would like to tell him thank you.
Yeah.
I'm very grateful that everything happened the way it happened
Yeah.
because I did earn my freedom back.
Uh-huh.
And I can be everything I want to be now.
Yeah.
'Cause I kept on making myself so small so I can fit in within the relationship.
Yeah.
And so now I can say that I am being my happiest
Yeah.
as of the last 20 years.
Uh-huh. I love that because
I'm really
we
grateful.
we always see our negatives, our failures as something, negative, but in your way, you're seeing it as something positive because it's, making something out of yourself. We kind of discussed this on Elijah's show, Wealth for Generations, where it's just don't ever see something as a negative as, as a downfall. Sometimes it's a positive.
Everything has a gift in it. We
Uh-huh.
just don't see it how it's wrapped up.
Yeah.
So we always concentrating on how bad that happened to you or all of the negative around the situation instead of saying, okay, what is it? What is the good on this that I'm not really looking at?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. At what cost were you willing to deal with to save your marriage?
That wasn't in the picture.
No.
No, he had another relationship already, so there was no let's work this out now. So
What do you say to those people that are like, I'm gonna stick with it no matter what? Like,
everybody has their choice.
Uh-huh.
Whatever works for them, if it works for them, go for it. But
yeah,
as a woman, um, I mean, at one point he wanted to still be with me,
yeah,
but also with the other relationship. And as a woman and as a Hispanic Latina, we're used to being on these relationships and putting up with this kind of behavior from
Yeah.
men. And I would say that you have to value yourself and everything that you are. And no matter how much you think you love the person, you have to put yourself first.
right.
So that's what I did. And it's like, I'm sorry, but I can do both. I said, I can do that. it's not the kind of example I want to give my girls, that it's okay that you have this behavior
Yeah.
and that I put up with it. So no.
Right. What do you say to those people that say that they can love their wife but still have other partners?
I think that it is very hard to comprehend for me, because I mean, I know that people can love other people, but it's a different love.
Exactly.
But
Yes.
the deceiving is the part that it's not acceptable.
Yeah.
So I mean, you can love as many people as you want,
Uh-huh.
but there's always going to be that one love that you have. But I mean, you can do that to whoever you're with. I mean,
Yeah.
it's not right.
Right. Danny, what do you feel when you think of marriage or love in general?
Scary.
Yeah.
I think marriage, I always imagined myself getting married to that person.
Yeah.
And we were together long enough to be considered married.
Yeah.
And so I think moving forward from here, I'm scared. I feel that I'm when I am talking to other people, I kind of am like, okay, is that a red flag? Is that my guard? Should I be open to this? Should I tell
Right.
them? Well, I don't want to tell them too much, because then
Yeah.
later they might bring it up or use it against me. Or so I think it's scary, honestly, for me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because Danny brought up red flags. What were the red flags that you've seen in your relationship?
For me, it's really funny. You know what I do now, right? I'm an investigator.
Uh-huh.
So I told them, if
Yeah.
you forgot what I do for a living,
Yeah.
it's not
So
easy.
watch out, people.
It's not easy to fool
Yeah.
me. So for me, the first thing I saw is like it showed up to me.
Yeah.
My cell phone bill was 3 cents more than normal.
Yeah. Oh wow. That is crazy.
and that's how I started finding out this
Yeah.
this and that. And then he started changing as far as being at home.
Yeah.
We probably saw him once a week, even though he lived with us.
Yeah.
And because he always said he was working.
Even at night when he has to go to sleep, like he
He would
wasn't even there.
just he worked nights.
Oh, okay.
So during the day he will be gone because he was going hiking, or he was going walking, or he was going with friends shooting.
Yeah.
So he was never home.
Wow. When you seen those red flags, what were you doing?
I was trying to give him space. I know that, he can go walking, he can go I'm not, owner of anyone. So
Yeah.
I give him that space, and I'm like, okay, he wants to be fit. He wants to be fit. And I didn't make a big deal, but then I saw many, many texts and I questioned it.
Yeah.
Because at that point I knew the name of the person he's texting with, because I'm an investigator.
Yeah.
So I had all this information. I said, who is this person?
Yeah.
Oh, it's somebody from work. And I said, that person doesn't have a life, because they were texting day and night. So he said that I was making up stories in my head. So
Wow. Before we get into your next question, I need to go change a few information on my thing so that way she can't look me up. And we're gonna go pay some bills. So we'll be right back after this break.
Habari Entertainment Films present There's Only One Name for News with Damon and Aisha. Habari Live Podcast. Habari Entertainment, a race against time. On a quest for glory. Habari News Weekly, HabariEntertainment.com. Catch us for more. Visit us, HabariEntertainment.com.
And we're back. We're talking about the big D word. Do your kids know when everything was going on?
My oldest is the one that noticed.
Yeah.
I mean, she saw me in a, uncomfortable position, crying, desperate.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so she kept on asking what was wrong, because she saw me crying day and night. I mean,
Uh-huh.
it's kind of hard not to hide it,
Uh-huh.
because I mean, I have feelings, and
Yeah.
Yeah.
What was that conversation like with your kids? Like, how did you have to break it down?
with her it was just a one-on-one. I said, this is happening to your,
Yeah.
to our relationship, to your dad and and I said, I'm gonna go forward with separation and divorce, and
Yeah.
I want you to find out first from me, and not, just go outside and say somebody told you,
Yeah.
because it's really important for you to communicate with them.
Yeah. And then how did that conversation change from it starting to happen where you're seeing the red flags to now you guys are getting the divorce? How are you guys having to explain that to the kids?
Um, you know, the thing with this is that since he was never home,
Uh-huh.
um, even when he left, they're so like, oh, it's like he's never there. So to
It
them,
really didn't affect them.
no, they didn't cry, and I think it was shocking for him because they didn't even ask for him to stay.
Yeah.
They were like, "Bye, Dad."
Yeah.
So it was very interesting. So for them, it's been an easy process in a sense, but I
Uh-huh.
had been taking them to therapy because they still need to let their feelings out.
Yeah.
Because they can be, they might not say it, but they may be angry at the situation that they couldn't keep their parents together.
Yeah.
Because sometimes kids can get involved in that sense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then when you were seeing the red flags, did you ever confront your ex at that time?
Yes, immediately. Like I said before the commercials, I asked them about the the telephone bill being,
Yeah.
with the text. I found probably 1,000 texts within 1 month.
Uh-huh.
And I said, "Who is this?" At that point, I already knew the name of the person, the
Yeah.
address, the whole thing. And I said, "Who is this person?" And he mentioned it was a coworker, and it's
Yeah.
a lady. And I said, "Doesn't she have a husband? A life? Well, how come this is happening?"
Yeah.
And he says, "No, we're just talking. It's from work." And I didn't make a big deal. I mean, I'm not trying to prove him, guilty of anything.
Right.
And so I didn't say anything. And then I confronted him again because he's not never answering his phone now.
Yeah.
He changes to I'm calling and he never answers. And he says I'm being toxic, I'm being controlling, that I'm making stories in my head. So all of this was used against me.
Uh-huh.
And at the end, I asked him, I said, I thought we were friends because we had a relationship for so long. You'd
Yeah.
think that the person you're with, they're mainly your friend, right? To
Yeah.
begin with. I said, I thought we were friends. I said, the part I don't forgive, I said, I will forgive that you slept with 20 women if you wanted to. I said, what I will never forgive is that you deceived me and then you turn it around and try to make it like I was making the problem.
Victimizing himself. Yeah.
Yes.
And then because you have 3 girls, what do you say to them that says that not all men are dogs?
It's a tough conversation. I
Yeah.
mean, my youngest is only 7. I
Uh-huh.
cannot talk to her about it yet.
Yeah.
But my 12-year-old and my 15-year-old, I sit down with them. I tell them that, we're humans and we all make mistakes.
Yeah.
And he might not realize it's a mistake yet because
Uh-huh.
he's still happy and whatever.
Yeah.
But we all make mistakes. And I said, do not judge everybody by what another person did. So you have to be open to that there's good people out there.
Yeah. Did you ever confront the girl?
No, not interested.
No.
No. I have her information. I know she's still married.
Yeah.
She's a married woman.
Wow.
I know where they live. I know the name of I know everything, and I could.
Yeah.
But I'm not interested on fighting for something that's not worth it. And I know
Yeah.
that doing that will be saying like I'm fighting for something I want, and I'm actually really happy the
Yeah.
way I am, where I am right now.
Yeah. Danny, have you ever found yourself in a situation like that?
Yes. Yeah.
What do you do in that situation?
I mean, honestly, just in that situation, I mean, it goes back to like where do I like again like what you mentioned, like do I want to fight for this?
Mhm.
I think being able to control your emotions and understand that that other person is doing what they want to do,
Right.
and to just be able to not take it personally
Uh-huh.
to yourself
Right.
is be the bigger person. And what good is it going to be? Honestly, it's just going to cause more problems. There's no need to go after that person or say, oh, this is this guy, he blah blah blah, he's with me. Eventually they're going to find out.
Yeah.
They'll see through. I think that's God's way of just like let it happen the way
Uh-huh.
it's supposed to happen. And
Yeah.
me interfering as many times I've been in a situation where I've wanted to kind of go crazy, but it the kids are usually present,
Yeah.
and that's not the time or place.
Yeah.
And I think just let them find out on their own.
Yeah.
Like they'll understand that person. They'll see through it eventually at some point.
Yeah.
Yeah, the same thing here. I mean, it's everything falls in its place. You never have to do anything.
Yeah.
And at the end, at the end of the days, I'm a lady. They're not doing. I see it as they're not doing anything to me.
Uh-huh.
I told them, you're not doing any. You didn't do anything to me. You're doing it to yourself.
Yeah.
And that's what I'm saying. They're doing it to themselves. They're lying to each other. And I mean, at the end, everything's gonna fall.
Yeah. How do you handle not hurting your kid's image or both yourself and the dad? Like, so when you're discussing it, like not letting the emotions play a part into those conversations?
I have to be very smart on my words. I have to
Okay.
pick my words very carefully when I speak to them about what's going on,
Uh-huh.
how it's happening. I mean, it is challenging because
Yeah.
sometimes you tend to want to fall into that. You want to be right and you want to
Right.
prove that other person wrong. So I choose my words carefully. I always tell them, he's your dad. You have to, he's your dad. He's always going to be your dad, and you need to
Yeah.
love your dad
Uh-huh.
regardless of what happened.
So that line gets curved then, in a sense, because you're still honoring the honesty, but at the same time, it's kind of curving because now
Yeah.
you're fixating this
It,
idea that these girls have.
it's tough. I mean, it's not an easy situation. And
Right.
as they grow, I think I will have more open conversation as to this is something that can happen in this real life.
Yeah.
But as of right now, I don't want to make them grow with trust issues either. So
Yeah.
yes.
Were you ever afraid of letting people know you were getting a divorce?
No.
Because I know I don't want to generalize it. I don't want to, like, you know, respectfully saying, sometimes they feel like, oh man, like my parents are gonna feel a certain type of way, or my friends are gonna feel a certain type of way. That never played a factor with you.
No, no, for me it was more like, people can say whatever they want. I know what I want in my life.
Right.
And divorce is one thing that was gonna create more for me. So
Uh-huh.
I mean, he didn't want to get divorced.
Yeah.
And I said, I want to get divorced.
Yeah.
So when people started finding out, everybody was shocked because of our long time relationship. I mean,
Yeah.
even when I spoke to you, you were
Yeah.
shocked. So no, I was never afraid of what people are gonna say, or I mean, I was afraid from my kids what they're gonna hear out there.
Yeah.
But that's why I spoke to them directly so that nobody else brings that to them.
Okay. At any point did you feel that it was your fault?
I did at the beginning. I thought I did something wrong, and that's horrible.
Yeah.
You feel. I mean, I felt horrible because I thought I fell as a woman,
Yeah.
and that's tough as a woman.
What did you feel that you needed to do more or less of?
When he started telling me that I was toxic, controlling, I
Yeah.
started letting go, and I'm like, maybe I am being toxic. Maybe I mean, I started judging myself for
Uh-huh.
that, and I started believing that yes, maybe I am.
Yeah.
But then I was like, I'm not. It's like I was really not.
Yeah.
I was really understanding. I gave him space. I think I did 110% in my marriage.
Yeah.
It's just that the way things played out and how he put it to us, it is maybe my fault. It made me believe it was my fault.
Yeah. Danny, have you ever been told that you were like toxic or you were the reason of, say, a relationship?
Yes.
How did that make you feel?
Well, for a long time, this is a person I trusted and
Uh-huh.
loved, and I believed it.
Yeah.
After I think we stayed together for probably a year or two of me knowing I wasn't happy with
Yeah.
that person anymore, and
Uh-huh.
thinking, okay, maybe something I'm doing. What do I need to change?
Uh-huh.
And then I would make a change or do something different, and it was me. It was always my fault for what I wasn't doing, what I was doing,
Right.
and I believed it
Yeah.
for a long time until I did start talking to other people and hearing that no, you're not crazy. That's emotional abuse,
It is.
or it's
Yeah.
verbal abuse. Like that's you don't deserve to be talked to like that. That's
Yeah.
not okay.
It'll break you down each and every
Yeah.
time. People don't. I've always disliked the thing, like, sticks and stones may break your bones, because in a sense, it will over time break you down. I mean, that
Yeah.
goes from kids to relationships to whatever the situation is. It'll break you down over time, and that's that mental breakdown. So, and the other thing I don't like too is the fact that because you were saying you gave 110%. Some people are like, well, I gave 50%, and this person gave 50%. My ideal is the fact that each person has to give 100%, because if they're only giving 50%, they're only giving half. You
Right.
both need to give 100%. Otherwise, it's not going to work. And you have to ride that roller coaster, because if you're not, I mean, you're going to have your highs, but you're also going to have those lows. And if you can get through those lows, you're going to get to a high again. It's going to make it, worth it. In this case, it was shocking because of the fact that, like, it was, you guys built so much time, and then for him to kind of just throw it away and be like,
For me, it was before. I mean, for the past year, we've been separated for a few months now. We're waiting on the divorce decree right now.
yeah,
For me, for the past year and a half, I will say that our marriage was like going into the
right.
down. There was no much interest. I love going to concerts. You've seen that I go to concerts a lot,
Yeah.
and I will invite him and do things together, and he will always not want to be part of that.
Yeah.
And that's a big part of who I am, music.
Uh-huh.
I love music, and doing things together as a family was never an option.
Yeah.
And then he was a heavy drinker sometimes,
Yeah.
and that screwed up a whole weekend. If we wanted to go out, on the weekend, we couldn't because he had a hangover.
Yeah.
So in a sense, everything was going into the down, and I think that I should have stepped out of
Right.
the relationship, to be honest with
Yeah.
you, because I wasn't happy. I wasn't in a happy place. I felt really abandoned.
Yeah.
For the longest time, and I asked for attention, and I never got it towards that year.
Yeah.
And I think I was a little bit like of a coward because I didn't do it myself, and he had to do that in order for me to move on.
Right.
But I'm grateful.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't necessarily think it was a coward portion. I just think the fact that you just gave in and you seen the
yeah.
opportunity, so you took the opportunity and kind of just ran with it.
Yeah.
I definitely
Um,
don't think you're a coward.
Yeah.
That's, you have children with this person, and that's a
There's
person,
history.
yeah, that you love that person. You want to believe and
Right.
And I think it's the hardest decision. I mean, to be able to leave is hard.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Because you said he was kind of strong-minded. Did marriage counseling ever approach to him?
That was not.
It was
That's
never an
the,
option.
that's the thing, though. That's where I wanted to get. Is like I didn't even know we had issues as far
Uh-huh.
as so bad of an issue to get divorced or
Yeah.
for him to go look for somebody else.
Yeah.
Like he never talked to me openly about how he felt.
Uh-huh.
So we never had an open conversation about his feelings. And
Yeah.
and I will always look for those times where we can conversate. And he was always tired, or he was always sleepy, or there was always something in the middle, but he will never communicate.
Yeah.
And you can say I'm a big talker. So
Yeah.
I asked him many times, how do you feel? And because I sensed this, he was like a
Awkward
way.
vibe.
Yeah. And I, in my head, never happened that we were that bad, like to get divorced.
Yeah.
And then it just happened. And it's like, it was shocking because it's like, at what point did we get into this
Yeah.
situation?
When you were disclosing this information to your family, or even your friends, did they offer you any type of support? And if they did, what was that support?
I'm very fortunate to have, I guess in the past, I didn't realize how many people are there for me.
Yeah.
That when this happened, it's like an immense amount of people were like calling me. My best friends will come to the house on a daily basis to check
Right.
on me. They will stay with me if they saw me crying. They will invite me to their house to stay with us so you can get out of the house, not be in that environment.
Yeah.
One of my very best friends, she had everything paid for vacation in Rocky Point. She's
Uh-huh.
like, just come with the girls so you can relax. You need to
Oh,
unwind.
nice.
So it was I had so many good people around me that I didn't realize I did.
Yeah. That is really good. What does your next relationship look like?
That's a good question. I'm looking for respect more than
Okay.
anything. Respect, communication. Somebody that values who I am and that
Yeah.
accepts me for everything I am.
Okay. I hear the term it's cheaper to keep her to stay in the marriage, kind of like we were discussing earlier. What do you say to that, both of you? Or like, that it's cheaper to keep her, just to stay in the relationship.
I don't agree.
Yeah.
I think that you should always put yourself first. I think you should always value yourself,
Yeah.
and no matter what the other person is telling you is not true, or they will do the moon and the stars. It's like put yourself always first,
Yeah.
because there's no one out there for you but yourself.
Yeah. Do you have now new trust issues?
I did,
Yeah.
but therapy has really cleared those out,
Nice.
and I'm able to meet people and know that there'll be somebody good out there for me.
Yeah. I was looking on the internet the other day because usually when I'm doing the episodes, I'm always trying to figure out ways to kind of connect and find little things for it, so that way I can have a rounded show. I seen people are having now divorce parties. What do you guys think about that?
My friends were telling me as soon as the divorce decree comes out, you have to do like a banda in the back of your backyard.
Yeah.
So yeah, they want me to throw a party. I'm like, I don't know if I'm all about that. Maybe I'll do my wedding that day. I don't know.
Yeah. That's crazy. Yeah. What do you think about a divorce party?
I didn't even know people were doing that.
Yes.
That honestly doesn't surprise me. There is
Yeah.
a party for everything these days.
There is like the push parties now.
Yeah, everything.
Yeah.
The wife dressed up. I mean, like let's say if I was to throw a party, there's all these teams online where you wear your wedding dress, but then you put you paint it with black, and it's a fact marriage.
Oh,
And then
that's
they're making cakes. It's like my friend sent me like, you can make yourself this cake.
yeah.
I'm like, okay,
I mean, it's a way to look lighter on on a negative, I
yeah.
guess, in a sense. Yeah. At any point, did you feel like turning to something to console you? Drinking, drugs, anything of that sort?
Well, with the drugs, I had issues because I would like, get me crazy. And I'm just joking.
Right.
No, no, nothing. No,
No.
not at all. No.
Have you ever consoled to something like to a failed relationship or anything?
I would say actually, like in my relationship,
Yeah.
towards the end, I was using more. I mean, I smoke, but I was smoking to the
Yeah.
point where I was just so out of it
Yeah.
that my family actually came to me and told me, they said, "You're just really not yourself. Like
Yeah.
you're smoking from the moment you wake up all day to when you get home. You're like in a fog."
Yeah.
I didn't really have drinking problems, but um, it was it yeah, I did, and, I'm thankful for my family to point that out to me, and
To have that
oh,
support.
absolutely.
Yeah.
I grew up with, my parents both used, and I kinda started to see I was kinda going into that
Yeah.
pattern myself of,
Uh-huh.
I wasn't popping pills or anything like that, but I was still doing some kind of form to just numb myself from the situation and
Right.
dealing with it. I was just trying to act like it wasn't there.
Yeah.
So,
And for me, it was the opposite. I took it as this is the moment where I can shine. And I
Yeah.
mean, a lot of people have reached out and asked me, what is it that I'm doing? Because I have a glow in my face
Yeah.
that they haven't seen in years. Um, I want to say, though, the first month was tough.
Yeah.
And the eating part was hard. I couldn't eat much and I couldn't sleep. I did have lots of anxiety attacks at night.
Yeah.
So I would wake up every night at 3 a.m. and would not, I only slept like 3 hours daily. So that took a toll on me.
Yeah.
And then I started with the therapy and it helped. And then I started concentrating on my well being.
Nice. Nice. My only advice is to not use the kids as bargaining tools. Irrespective to how you both feel, don't make them pick sides or put them in the middle. Kids shouldn't be the ones to have to sacrifice. I know, um, both my parents, they've kind of been in and out of different relationships and stuff like that. So it just makes it hard because of the fact that you're always trying to figure out you as a child build those trust issues because you're like, shoot, like, what I mean? You experience a lot just with the parents going through that alone. Before I forget, I was told to let my viewers know to not put recyclables in plastic bags. Did you know that plastic bags, pet food, and pet food bags and styrofoams are not recyclables? Did you know that?
I did not.
Yeah, I've been living a lie. So it is stated that, and I'm not sure if I said this earlier, but it is stated that 41% of all first marriages, 60% of all second marriages, and 73% of all third marriages end in divorce. It's crazy. That it makes it really hard for when you're
Wow.
actually trying to.
Then it makes you
Wow.
think if you really want to get married again.
So, because you bring that up, what do you say to those people that are saying like, "Hey, it's just a piece of paper"?
um, for me, even when I was gonna marry the first time, I didn't want
Uh-huh.
to get married.
Yeah,
To me, it was a piece of paper.
yeah,
We did it for the legality. We
yeah,
already moved in, so um, and then after being married, it was well, we're married, but from the beginning, I didn't see it as a requirement.
yeah,
So today, if I was asked, if I had a relationship and they asked me to marry, I mean, I really would think about it and how I feel about that person, and
right,
if that's the person that I really want to spend my time with,
yeah,
and all the pros and cons, and how we build our relationship.
yeah,
That will have to do a lot too if I want to remarry.
right. Danny, what would you like to say on that as well?
I would say, that's crazy that that statistic, as the more times you get married, the less likely you're able to actually hold that marriage together.
Uh-huh.
I think, uh, again, I've always dreamed of, having that strong marriage and having a wedding and walking down the aisle. I haven't, had that experience, and I want to, but at the same time, it's very, very scary with where I've been the last 7 years and in my relationship, wanting that so bad. And to me now, I think, um, it's a lot more than that.
Yeah,
I think I always dreamed of, like I said, like the wedding. I always dreamed of all the things you see on social media or the
uh-huh,
greatness of being married. but being able to be with that one person, and that's a person you want to be holding their hand when in your deathbed. Like, you're going to be with that person the rest of your life.
Yeah.
And finding that person I mean, I don't know.
Yeah.
It's hard.
Because you guys have both been in interesting relationships. You have boys, you have girls.
Mhm.
Looking at your guys' relationships on a personal aspect and being able to offer that same advice to your kids, what are you guys saying to them to give them the advice that you're having in your own relationship? Because the fact that it's going to be so different, because you're speaking to your daughters, because you're speaking to your sons.
I just, my advice to them is that their choices are always going to have,
Right.
repercussions. So
Uh-huh.
to always choose wisely,
Yeah.
to always give the chance
Uh-huh.
to love, to life,
Yeah.
and to know that whatever they choose,
Yeah.
it was the right thing to do at that time.
Okay. And you?
So my kids are pretty young, 2.5 and 4. What I tell them is just, we have, mom and dad both have their own houses,
Yeah.
and I think, well, actually, the other night I was reading a book. I bought my kids these books there's one called Two Homes and
Uh-huh.
then Two Nests. So it just talks about how mom and dad both you have a bed at your dad's, you have a bed at your mom's. And my son, my 4-year-old, said, "Mommy, you and daddy were mad at each other.
Yeah.
So you have mommy's house and I have daddy's house." And I said, "Yes, that's exactly right." And he said,
Yeah.
"Yeah, you weren't happy." I said, "I was not happy, and daddy wasn't happy, but now we're happy that we have our own places." And
Yeah.
and I asked my son, I said, "Are you happy to see mom and dad happy now and in our different homes?" And he said, "Yeah."
That's
So
good because you're offering them that healthy environment.
yeah, I think making sure that you're happy with where you're at, because your kids see the
Right.
way that how you are. If you're
Yeah.
sad and crying all the time, or you're constantly arguing in front of the kids, it's just, they see that and they know
Yeah.
exactly. Their kids are so smart.
Yeah.
And I think that was a big thing for me, is just helping them understand that what
Yeah.
we're going through, it's not easy, and it does make mommy sad, but mommy's happier,
Yeah.
and dad's happier. And so
Yeah. Thinking of a scenario, and it's gonna oppose different with the both of you. But let's say you're trying to offer advice to your sons, to your daughters, and they're so strong minded that they don't want to move the relationship. How do you convince them to say, you know what, like this is not healthy. This is, very toxic, as you mentioned earlier.
As a mom,
Uh-huh.
there's only so much you can tell a person.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, you cannot experience on somebody else's shoes.
Yeah.
So regardless of what they've been through life and experience with my divorce and their
Right.
household, sometimes they have to go through this so they can grow.
Uh-huh.
So for more than I love my daughters, if
Yeah.
they choose what they choose, I can't change it.
Yeah.
And I can only tell them, this is not the best choice, but you need to go through it so you can learn from it and grow from it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is there at any point do you then step in? Say you're going that route and then it ends up being something very mentally or or say it turns into, something domesticated where, violence starts playing a picture.
If it's physical, then that's another story. I think
Yeah.
that everybody needs to reach out. And as a parent, I will be like, you can be here.
Uh-huh.
But again, I go again, you cannot experience in somebody else's shoes, because
Yeah.
sometimes for the more horrible that it sounds, sometimes people need to go through that in
Yeah.
order to grow from it and not wanting that again.
Yeah.
And that's the important thing about speaking to my children right now,
Right.
that they don't have to put up with anything with any kind of toxic relationship in the future. So
Uh-huh.
that's why it's really important for me to speak to them.
Yeah. What do you say in a case, Danny, if if you're witnessing, like, let's say one of your sons is the issue, and this, this poor girl or the poor partner is going through a situation, you're like, shoot, like you want to reach out to that person, but you don't want to necessarily, go behind your child's back.
Oh gosh, that one's hard. I think I would I would go to my son. I would say, what's going on.
Right.
And that's my goal right now, is to make sure my kids can talk to me and be
Mhm.
honest to me and tell me, like, why are you feeling this way? what's going on. But I think if I were to see that happening,
Uh-huh.
I would definitely be very concerned. But there is, there is two sides to the story. I think, two can play a part.
Right.
Everybody, but I would talk to my son. I would try to dig deeper on what's actually going on. What's the issue? If I can help, if I can
Uh-huh.
support, if I can help in any way. Uh, but yeah, I I don't know.
I mean, it's good because I mean, you're being truthful. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So someone out there is gonna be like, they might be looking for that answer. You know?
Yeah.
We're gonna take a commercial break right now. That's exactly what we're gonna do.
Habari Entertainment Films present There's Only One Name for News with Damon and Aisha. Habari Live Podcast. Habari Entertainment, a race against time. On a quest for glory. Habari News Weekly, HabariEntertainment.com. Catch us for more. Visit us, HabariEntertainment.com.
Now it's time for. I'll ask, is it weird? And see if y'all have WTF moments or similar situations like this. Is it weird that when I'm looking to buy something I like, I look at the price tag and if it looks higher than Snoop Dogg or Willie Nelson, I'll put it back. Like if I didn't like it. You guys ever do that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, you'd
Oh
be
yeah.
like, yeah, like
I didn't like it that much.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
That's
I like
exactly
it,
what
It's
I'm
like, what
saying.
does it do? Does it move by itself?
Yeah, that's exactly what I'm doing. I'm looking at the price tag. I'm like, I don't need it that much. Is it weird that when I go grocery shopping, it now seems to be a tradition to order pizza versus the food we just went grocery store?
Oh yeah,
Grocery
it's
shopping for?
easier. You get home,
Yeah.
eat, and then put everything in the fridge.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
it's just weird. I'm just like, I don't want to, eat any of this food. Is it weird that when someone is calling me and I'm watching a YouTube video or I'm watching a movie or something, I'll look at my phone ringing and let it ring and ring, and then once it stops, I'll go back to watching my video off my phone.
I do that all the time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's not that
Yeah.
I'm trying to be rude or anything else. It's just the fact that I might be stressed. Like work might have been like crazy, and I'm just like, I just need a moment to myself. Like I'll get back to them when I get back to them, but yeah, that's
That's
just what I
totally
do.
normal.
Absolutely.
So in this next part of the show, I'll give a shout out and or spotlight a local business, an artist, or an organization. Today on the list, we have Casa Academy. Casa Academy provides low-income students with the early academic foundation and character skills necessary to graduate from college and succeed in life. You are providing young children in our community with the opportunity for a better education, better quality education. CASA believes that all students, regardless of ethnicity, language, or family income level, deserves the chance to attend a high quality school. So instead of donating to that Goodwill, donate to them. I promise you, it will be used and appreciated. They are located in Phoenix, and you can donate at casaacademy.org. And just side note, I actually volunteered there a couple times, and it's just um, kind of sad because the fact that when I went to go volunteer there, people are donating a lot of the stuff that's like at the last end straw of.
Oh wow.
Yeah, I mean, this stuff is like beat up and everything else. We package it, we put it in backpacks, and we set it up for these kids. These kids are coming out to the. I don't want to sound mean, but when you're looking at it from one part, it's beat up. You're like, man, these kids are not gonna like it. And these kids, they'll come in, they'll grab their backpacks. It ends up being everything to them
Wow.
because it's brand new to them. So if you're looking, people out there, if you're looking for someone to donate, please donate to them because it's just they're a remarkable place. I mean,
Please invite me when you volunteer. I like to volunteer and
I'm
donate as well.
yeah, I'm trying to get back into it. I just been told I'm all over the place. I mean, as you can tell. But if you really are looking for a place to go volunteer, who I am is phenomenal. I mean, I
Okay.
mentioned it, in an episode ago, and Anthony there, he'll guide you. He'll tell you. I mean, he has stuff that's running there every single time. And when people reach out to me, that's who I'm telling them about. Not because of the fact that I'm not necessarily doing it. It's just sometimes when I'm doing my stuff, it's spontaneous. We just celebrated World Humanitarian Day. And so normally what I do, I used to put it out there and for people to do 24 random acts of kindness for 24 people in 24 hours.
Wow.
I used to try to get people to do it out there, but sometimes it's hard getting volunteers, hard to get people to, to do it. But it's literally just me going out there cleaning up a park. It's me going out there to, just inspire someone, just to talk. If you're gonna go grab something to eat and you see someone sitting by themselves, like, hey, can I join you, or would you like to join me? There's so many opportunities to find within, just being a normal humanitarian. Um, the next person I want to give a shout out to is Sal's Barbershop. They have two locations. One's off of 75th Ave in Encano, and the other is off of 67th Avenue in Greenway. Sal's actually my son's barber. Honestly, I don't trust anybody else. I tried to at one point just because I was in a rush, and he does get booked up. But I had my kids get their haircuts, and my wife gave me shit about it because their hairs look horrible. And he will fix it too if your kids get all messed up and stuff like that. He's certified, he's friendly, he works great with kids. Yeah, just don't mess up your kids' hair, taking them to supercuts or any of those kid hair gimmick spots. Um, just give him a shot. And as we wrap up this show, I want to give a huge shout out to my co-host Danny Sador. Where can they find you at?
Facebook, Instagram.
Yeah, you got anything going on?
No, not a lot.
Okay.
I actually, I've cut back on my social media quite a bit.
Yeah.
So, but I'm definitely on Instagram.
Okay. If you're looking for something to do outdoor, hit her up. My guest, Raquel Rosas, where can they find you at?
I'm on Facebook as Raquel Rosas Ibarra, and they can also find me on Instagram at Rakis9.
Uh-huh.
And I have the cake business, and I also do
Throw that out there, yeah.
Yeah, the cake business is at Cakes and Macarons 7, Cakes and Macarons for your party needs. The best cakes. Patrick is my customer.
Yeah. No, I can vouch for it too. And that's why I said in the beginning that she'll serve you the best cake to your heart. I didn't mean that like she's gonna shank you or anything. I meant like because of the fact that you make good cakes.
I make them with love. It's
Yeah.
like I make cakes like I want a cake be made for me.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. And you don't have to pay those, store prices. Those store prices are crazy.
plus you don't know what you're eating.
Yeah. That's the other thing too.
Yep.
Yes.
Yeah. Or you guys could even go together, hiking or since you
Yeah,
both love
I
the outdoor
actually
life.
love to walk. So every day in the mornings, I do a 4 or 5 mile walk while my daughter trains cross country.
Yeah.
And then we've been doing hiking on Saturday. So we do like South Mountain, we do Thunderbird.
Yeah.
Anytime.
Yeah.
Thank you. Yeah.
And even out there, if you're like, man, I think this guy's cheating, she'll get down to the nitty gritty of it.
Oh,
hit her up.
investigator service, yes, yeah.
Yeah, she'll be there right with you. And I just want to say, you both deserve the best. I'm sorry to hear about your divorce. And to anyone dealing with a complicated relationship, I just know that although the relationship didn't go the way you expected it to, there's still time to make great plans for you. Despite the difficult time you're going through, the best is yet to come. Plus, that you time that you put in will not be the revenge, but the dedication to become a better you. Mistakes and inaccurate choices can lead to great opportunities, but bad chapters can still lead to great stories. Wrong paths can still lead to right places. Failed dreams can still create successful people. Sometimes it's okay to lose ourselves and fail to be able to find ourselves and become the great that we see within. But to the voice with the choice, Mr. Dip, and Elijah as well. So I'm
Thank you.
Yeah.
I'll say thank you twice for both of us.
All right, cool. So I'm gonna do a round of applause for everybody, and I appreciate everybody.
We appreciate you, Mr. St. Patrick.
Thank you. And to everybody out there, just for you, for everybody that's supporting the show and everything else, I appreciate it. Please like and follow Habari Live Podcast, Habari Entertainment, and check out his other shows. He has 6 other shows out there as well, like Habari Live and Wealth for Generations. Please also check out One Love on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube. You can find me watching Mr. Ballin or No Chaser podcast, scrolling on the toilet, or driving my kids crazy. This is One Love. Thank you for tuning into the show. Make it a great day. Stay hydrated and well rested. And we're out.
Peace.